What up, world? R.I.C.H coming right back at you. ESPN didn't just lay Ryan Clark off. They pulled him off a live broadcast. And that is the kind of cold corporate move that should remind every talented person why ownership matters.
League neighbors. And I believe Isaiah likely could be a huge reason why you can be patient. When you think about the way he was paired with Mark Andrews in Baltimore, he was the guy that gave you the explosive play that could stretch you down the seam. And now with Jackson Dart, to give him an outlet that's closer to the line of scrimmage, closer to the tackle box, I believe Matt Nagy understands how to utilize a tight end, and he could have a young Travis Kelce effect for this New York Giants offense. I believe he is just waiting to be unleashed. And you add Theo Johnson to that, who was already in New York, who we've seen make some athletic plays on the outside, but it could also be an inline blocking tight end, along with the 21 personnel Mina mentioned. We could see some of that 12 and then also incorporating Patrick Ricard so we could get those big packages along with Cam Scatterboo.
This was a weak move by ESPN. I know business is business, but there's still a way to handle it with respect. Ryan Clark gave ESPN 11 years and became one of their most recognizable voices covering the NFL. And he helped carry their football coverage across multiple shows. Then, when it was time to move on from him, they pulled him from the show like his presence had to be erased before the next segment. That is nasty work. A company can make a business decision without making the exit look humiliating. And that is what bothers people about this. 1 minute Ryan Clark is on ESPN doing his job. The next minute he is gone from the broadcast and the audience is left trying to figure out what happened. That image says more than any corporate statement ever could. This is why you can't get comfortable being an employee even when the job looks glamorous. The check can be big, the title can be important, the cameras can make it look like you're safe. But if you don't own the platform, somebody else still controls the chair. And when the spreadsheet says you cost too much, the room starts looking for a cheaper voice. Ryan Clark reportedly made around $2 million a year. That means he was valuable. But that also means he was expensive. And in corporate media, the better you get, the more they have to pay you. The same success that makes you bigger can also make you a target when the company decides to cut costs. That's why this story is not just about ESPN. It is about everybody with talent who thinks a company will always protect them just because they work hard. A company can appreciate you and still replace you. A company can promote you and still remove you. A company can call you family and still treat your exit like a line item. That is why ownership has to be the goal.
Are you feeling, okay, you look at A.J. Brown, which is this number one wide receiver who got one target all night, and then you got CeeDee Lamb.
But that's the
when was the one target?
That's the target,
But
though.
I'm saying,
when was the one target?
I'm saying you could have it both ways.
54 seconds left in the game on 2nd and 11. It was the one target. He runs the out route.
You wake up this morning saying A.J. Brown had a better day than CeeDee Lamb?
But you know what you wake up saying, though? A.J. Brown's team is 1-0.
Of course.
Right, like that's what
I get it.
But the thing is this, though, and we shouldn't do this on TV. And so I apologize if people think this is rude. That's the non-player.
Oh, stop. CeeDee Lamb is
let me tell you why. I'm not looking at
fantasy football. Ryan, I'm not. Don't belittle me like that. I could come in and say, as 3X players are saying one thing and give an alternative perspective that maybe CeeDee Lamb did play well. And
Peter, what I need for you to do is not get mad and let me finish for one.
Okay, go on.
It wasn't about you. It was going to be about me.
Okay.
As a player, I can't speak for CeeDee.
People are trying to play this old clip and act like it explains his firing. I don't buy that. Ryan Clark made a comment that rubbed Peter Schrager the wrong way. And Peter had the right to speak up for himself. But if the moment was enough to fire Ryan Clark, why did it take this long? Why does it suddenly become the reason when the network is already making cuts? That is where it starts sounding too convenient. Sports television is built on strong opinions. These networks pay people to argue, push back, create moments, and say things that get clipped online. But then when that same personality becomes too expensive or too hard to manage, the company starts acting like it never wanted that edge in the first place. That's the part that feels fake. I'm not saying Ryan Clark was perfect. Nobody in media is perfect when they talk for a living, including me. But I do believe one old exchange is not the whole story. This looks like money, this looks like timing, and this feels like corporate restructuring with an old clip being used to make the decision look cleaner. And that is why this exit looks so bad. If ESPN wanted to move on, they could have moved on. But doing it during a live show made it look cold, rushed, and disrespectful. That is not how you honor 11 years of work. That is how you protect the company from a leak. And when a company cares more about controlling the league than respecting the person, that tells you where you really stand.
My brother, Ryan Clark, a person that I consider to be arguably the best NFL analyst in America, is no longer a member of ESPN. And I can't even tell y'all how much that hurts. He's a man, and so he's going to handle it the way men do. And we understand that. But I'm going to miss him. I am not happy about this decision one bit. The bosses know I'm not happy about this decision. I've made that very, very clear. But it's also important that myself and anybody else in the world of business be grown-ups and understand that these are the kind of things that happen when layoffs happen.
This is where Ryan Clark deserves credit. He was not dependent on ESPN to be his only voice. He helped build a pivot, and that matters now more than ever. Because years ago, when a network let you go, you might not ever see that person again. The camera went off, the audience moved on, and the company still controlled the door. That's not the world we live in no more. Today, you can lose your job and still keep your audience. That's what Ryan Clark did right. He built something outside the building before the building decided he was done. That is the lesson. Do not wait until a company removes your chair to start building your own table. Build while the check is coming. Build while the light is on you. Build while people know your name. Because one day the place that helped make you visible can decide that you are no longer part of the plan. Ryan Clark had a great job, but he also had enough sense to create his own platform. That is the difference between being popular and being positioned. Popular means people know you while the company is putting you on the screen. Position means people can still find you when somebody takes the screen away. This is why ESPN did not end Ryan Clark. They ended his ESPN chapter, and that is a big difference. The way they handled it still looks bad on them because Ryan Clark can walk away with his name, his resume, his audience, and his own platform. ESPN has to sit with the image of pulling a man off a live show like he was a problem that needed to disappear immediately. That's why this connects with regular people. Most people are not making $2 million on television. Most people are not getting pulled off a national show in real time. But a lot of people know what it feels like to give a job your best years and still find out the company will protect itself first. That's the part that hits home. A job can pay you, develop you, and give you opportunity. But a job is not your family. Family don't remove you during a commercial break because somebody might leak the news. That was business, cold business. And that's why my message is always simple. Own as much as you can. Own as much of your audience as possible. Because talent can get you in the building. But ownership gives you somewhere to go when you got to walk out. Ryan Clark is going to be fine because he didn't let ESPN be the only place where he's valued. That is a smart move. That's the part everybody should be paying attention to. Not the drama, not the old clips, not the corporate spin. The real lesson is that he built something he can still stand on. So I'm going to take y'all out like this. ESPN had the right to make a business decision, but the way they handled Ryan Clark was weak. Using the old Peter Schrager exchange as an explanation does not make sense to me when the bigger picture looks like money, timing, and corporate restructuring. Ryan Clark got too expensive for a company trying to get cheaper. But the best thing he did was build outside the company before the company moved on. That's why this is not just a firing story. This is an ownership story. A job can open a door, but ownership keeps you from standing outside with all your value locked in somebody else's building. But hey, that's just my opinion. What's yours? Like, comment, subscribe. Establish Rich. I'll be back with another one. Peace.